Coming up, we're redefining masculinity first thing this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab where
Something negative comes up.
Building muscle through your blood flowing.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing.
You guys are super.
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that it?
There we go, nation. What's going on? Good morning. Yep, you got Keith Bilous over here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We are redefining masculinity today, you guys. We got Jeremy Cunningham joining us in the lab today. We got Marty over there. Yeah, Marty's hanging out. He's leaving a little bit early today. He's got some commitments. Jory Jansen's joining us. As Marty's walking out, Jory's coming in. We're talking gut health, men. Yes, I know gut health's important to all of us dudes. We like to eat the meat. Don't we, Johnny? We love to eat the meat. No, I didn't say beat the meat. Yes, I know Lauren's out of town, boys. We do got to talk about life expectancy work, but we're going to talk gut health here today. And hey, Bonnie Blue, boys, Bonnie Blue accomplished something pretty significant over the weekend. We're going to talk about that in a few moments as well. We are going to redefine masculinity here this morning, and maybe, and just maybe, we're going to get into some conversation about how to make your life a little bit better. Good morning, Amy Reiner. I see you there as well. Jimmy. We got producer Jimmy on the buttons. We got Tommy in the community. We got John and Jimmy and Marty and Jeremy and the whole gang here. Jimmy, let's bring the boys in. What is going on, Marty? What is going on, John? Hey, I'm telling you, Lauren's been gone for a few days, so I might need to do my own life expectancy work here today, boys.
I'm sending her a message and telling her she needs to get back ASAP.
It sounds like you need to be doing a better job. It doesn't seem like you're burning off much energy in your practices.
Hey, I did find a study, boys, that there might be relative benefits for men doing life expectancy work to live a little bit longer too. So I'm hoping to bring that conversation to the table in the coming days. Hey guys, listen, I woke up this morning with a massively incredible new tagline, and to the guy who invented less brunches, more crunches, Christopher Martin, see Marty fit. Get the button ready, Marty. I got one for you, pal. You ready?
We got a button? Okay.
Oh no, I'm saying you better get the button ready because I got a good
I'm going to be making a button is what you're saying.
I got a good one for you here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends with John and Marty. Boys, if it matters to men, it matters to us.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if it's button worthy, but it's a cool thing. That's like
you got to make it rhyme. You got to make it rhyme or something, man. If you want a button,
there's got to be a little. There's
okay.
It's true, but there's not a lot of. There's not very clever.
Yeah, come on, man.
And we got
to work on marketing. We got to work on marketing. Okay, so we need to hire a marketer.
It's got to be funny. It's got to be clever. It's got to be something.
If y'all didn't know, we're a band. And I'm not the rapper. We got the black rapper Marty, and we got the what the fuck? So we got two rappers.
Hold on, why's he got to be black
on the show here? We got Black Marty and White Johnny, the two rappers with Keith here who can't rap. That's it. There you go here, boys. That's just how the show is here today. Because apparently my hook doesn't work.
I love it, dude. I love it. Oh, fuck. Look at Marty's still recovered, man. Why's he got to be a black rapper? Why can't he just be a rapper?
Because you're the white rapper.
I gotta be a white whatever the fuck I was. You know?
Well, it's like the white man can't jump.
Oh man.
So we got the black rapper, the white rapper, and we got the old front guy of the band who can't.
Johnny, get this guy, man. Get this guy, Johnny.
Hey, boys. I got something for you. Remember Bonnie Blue? We talked about her a couple weeks back. I don't know if you guys remember Bonnie Blue. So Bonnie Blue was the young lady, who had a goal, boys, to sleep with 1,000 men in 12 hours.
Oh, that one. Oh man.
It was 24 hours, wasn't it?
Well, that's what I thought, Johnny. But she did it in 12 hours.
Yeah, we're cooked. We are cooked. Like, come on, man.
Did we find out, was it for money or was it just her just trying to do some crazy stunt?
No. It was for money. Yeah. Speaking of money, I read a fascinating article.
So 1,000 divided by 12 can't only be but a few seconds. What were these poor bastards paying per second?
Well, you know what it was too. Apparently, like it was like a gangbang, like an orgy. Like guys were standing around watching. So it'd be like us in a band. It's like, okay, Marty's doing his thing. Marty's done. Johnny's in. Keith's and then
that's insane.
It is insane. Yeah. And then some of the comments from the folks were like, she's like, I don't need a wheelchair. I'm fine. Yeah. I just feel like I had a heavy day in the bedroom.
Wasn't she just crying about the last one she did? About 100?
Yeah. Hey.
So she did the 100, cried, and then did 1,000?
No, that's a different one. There's actually
that was someone else. Okay.
Actually 2 females right now that are striving to sleep with more men than the other. One other one just last week, he did 100 and some odd. Now this one did 1,100. Good morning, good time. Good morning, Adam. I see you there in the comments as well. Good morning, Fox leader. Yeah, good morning.
Guys got to be down bad, man. You got to be struggling out here, man. If to be that thirsty,
dude. I don't know. Like, yeah. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I was talking with Piper last night. I'm like, Pipes, can you imagine? Like, how does her dad feel, Johnny? We both have daughters.
Well, that was what I said. You know, that's when we first talked about it. I said that her poor dad must be looking, going, fuck, man, I really missed the boat on this deal.
So do you think it gets to a certain point where as a dad, it's out of your control just because of the...
Yeah, because here's the deal.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me add one more to the question.
Yeah.
Do you think social media is like, maybe corrupting the mind of the girls from their dad? That's what I wanted to ask.
Well, here's the thing with because I got nothing but daughters, but I know that the concept still exists no matter what your child is. But it's as a parent, it's much like everything else in life and with yourself even. You're either going to put the work in up front or you're going to put the work in later. So the choice is yours. The work you put in up front is very different than the work you're putting in later if your kid's all fucked up, because those problems last forever.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. You know, it's something I read yesterday too, which was really quite striking to me. You know, historically, prostitution and money and sex has largely been equated to people that have less access, lower class and lower income and so forth, right? When you look at the world now, this is fascinating to me, boys. OnlyFans has unlocked an entirely new generation of employment for not have to be the undisclosed or lower class of humans. Like there's there's girls that are like, I'm not going to Harvard. I'm an attractive female. Hell with going to Harvard. Hell with going to get a career at a job and have some man boss me around. Hell with that. I'm going to go and take pictures of myself, make millions of dollars. And I'm going to tell you, I got no judgment on that. I'm fascinated by it. Because that is the thick, and there's.
But you know what they're missing, brother?
Yeah,
they'll figure it out, because you can have plenty of fucking money and no purpose, and you're fucking totally unhappy. So these chicks they're gonna make themselves a bunch of money, but if they don't somehow figure out what we're talking about, and a lot of times when people get money before their purpose, it's the reverse order doesn't get you anywhere. You got to kind of know. When you can make that money with your purpose, you become very fulfilled.
Oh, Johnny, a lot of times you and I have talked about that privately, because I've been there and you've been there. We both made a lot of cash, and we're like, I woke up on Monday. I'm still lost.
Well, I mean, that was the thing with me. I got fucking lucky, man. I'm blessed, I should say.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, I've had a purpose my whole life. Now, granted, I did get segued away with the allure of the dollar, right?
Yes.
Down deep, I always had my purpose. I just got distracted with making money away from my purpose.
Yes.
But if somebody doesn't have a fucking purpose, then it's just, if you do chase the dollar, when you finally feel like you got enough, you're fucking empty. And I got so many buddies there. It's like, what the fuck do I do now?
Dude, Jesus
Christ, you spent your whole fucking life doing something that wasn't fulfilling. You've made a practice of that behavior.
I love that we've come here. I really have with this conversation, because that's exactly where I want to take it, Johnny. Because it makes me wonder, whether we wake up, where the society wakes up in 3, 5, 7, 10 years, a whole generation of OnlyFans humans that have woken up going, oh, I really don't have a purpose. I'm kind of lost. I'm kind of messed up. And to your point, Jonny, if you're not fixing it now, you're fixing it later. So like there's going to be consequences from this. We can't deny that. Like there's right. So it's fascinating to me because there's humans and mostly females, because of us men, we want to pay for it. We're like, yeah, I want to see that girl naked. I'm going to go to OnlyFans. Right. And there's nothing illegal about it. But to your point, Jonny, socially and culturally, it's fascinating to me, the science experiment that's going to affect largely females, right, in relationships in the future, because we don't know yet, do we?
Yeah, I mean, the world is changing fucking fast, and there's a lot of shit going on. We don't know what the consequences are going to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, some consequences. There's been reports of like little boys being made fun of in school, because their mom had an OnlyFans.
Oh yeah,
and I think a lot of women don't think about how that affects boys. Now, I'm sure it affects girls too, but boys specifically. You got little boys laughing at your mom and making your mama jokes in school. That's heartbreaking.
Dude, never even thought. Well, I shouldn't say I never thought about it, but didn't think about it the way you've presented it right now. You're right, eh? Yeah.
And some women have lost jobs. So, like, say they did the OnlyFans and they quit, and they were like, fuck this, I'm gonna get a regular job. Yeah. And the job found out and fired them. So, yeah.
But here's the thing. There's two sides of that coin. I totally agree with everything you just said, Marty. The flip side of the coin is when you have a parent that's done something extraordinary, those kids take the same fucking beating. My girls took a fucking beating in school. Yes. Like we actually took them out of school for a couple of weeks when we filmed the movie, right? And of course, nobody fucking believed them, which of course they called it on themselves because they were fucking, bragging about it. But then when the whole thing came true and it was actually visible, oh fuck, man, they were like exiled. So whether your parents are doing something that's on the wrong side of the fence or the right side of the fence, if you're stepping away from the fence, if your parents are stepping away from the fence, it almost doesn't matter what side.
Yeah, it's a good point. 100%. That's a really good point. Absolutely, right. It's the decisions we make, the impact that. And Jonny comes back to what you said, right? You always say, it doesn't matter what we say to our kids. It's what we do, right? And they
don't give a shit what we say, and it's fucking heartbreaking. And I'll tell you, I mean, I get choked up just fucking thinking about this. Jesus Christ, I went through it myself, so it was a little bit easier for me to understand. But my middle daughter, like she was in that. What's that?
You don't want to see your daughter going through it. It's terrible.
Well, listen to this. I mean, so she was when that thing went down, the youngest one was in elementary, so it wasn't quite so brutal.
Yeah.
Middle one was in middle, which is like the most brutal.
Yeah.
And she comes to me one day and she's fucking in tears. And she says to me, she's like, Daddy, nobody will eat lunch with me.
Wow.
And it was like, fuck, dude. I mean, it's like, and it hurts my fucking heart and my stomach right now to even think of that fucking moment. And she had to deal with that for fucking months.
Yeah.
What were they saying to her?
When it comes down to it, I didn't. Yeah, no. When it came down to it, that was a really sensitive spot because they beat up on her because of me to begin with, right? But then when we would do, like when I took her to Japan, this is the same kind of shit. If anybody would find out about her doing something that was extraordinary, I don't really know because I didn't ask her. I didn't want to make her live through it. I told her anything she wanted to talk about and, blah, blah, blah. But she said for the most part, they were speaking, what was her words? They're speaking, I forgive the term, is not the right term, but speaking hateful about me.
Yeah.
And so, it's like when somebody's fucking talking bad about your dad or your mom, it's like, I can do that, but you can't, motherfucker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of daughters, boys, we'll shift to something kind of funny because I've been sharing you guys.
Let me throw this in there.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, Jonny, I know it's probably different for your daughter, but that made me the witty guy with all the jokes and shit because kids used to make fun of me. So that's why I kind of am the way I am.
Yes.
I wouldn't expect your daughter to be that way. It's a little different for her.
Well, you know what it did to her? She just became a fucking warrior, dude. She was already kind of she takes after me. She was kind of a hard ass to begin with, but after that, it was like, she just kind of got, she'll mow you over. And I don't mean physically, when it came to something where, where it wasn't like a social hierarchy, she was going to own the top of the hierarchy.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith Bilous, Jonny Andersen, C. Marty Fit, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. The only morning show to get you with the big tagline, real talk for real men. And hey, if it matters to us, if it matters to men, it matters to everybody. And hey, listen, I wanted to tell you guys something about Brookie. Remember Brookie went on a journey of being a vegan? Yeah. So
she went back.
I talked to the girls yesterday, and Monday came.
She had some chicken.
Well, so first of all, she learned from her mom that being a pescatarian doesn't include eating beef. So she was quite taken aback by the fact that she's like, maybe I could just be a pescatarian. And then by Monday, she's crushing a steak. So she crushed a steak on Monday. We talked yesterday. She's like, Keithy, I've decided that I'm going to have meat Mondays. So
we knew she was going to go back. We knew that was going to happen.
Love it, right? Because
it was just exploration, man.
Yeah, well, but here's what I love about her. As a 9-year-old, she's trying to find her values, trying to find her way, sticking to decisions, learning decision processes, right, and going through the whole journey. And it's just fun to see. It's a
good sign.
It's a great sign. Exactly it. So, all right, boys, listen. We got Jeremy Cunningham. He's in the green room. He got up early for us, boys. Yeah, he did. He's in Boulder. Johnny's going to go for a piss, Marty. Well, I don't know what the hell. Marty's rapping. Yeah, that's what Marty. No, I didn't say wrapping gifts, guys. No, he's just rapping. Yeah, Johnny's rapping with him in the bidet. All right. So I forgot what I was going to do there. Hey, it happens to all of us, right? It happens to all of us. Listen, guys, we're talking masculinity here today. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to invite you to consider this. The world, the world we're living in right now does not need tougher men. Listen, I'm all about toughness. I love toughness. No doubt about it. But it needs more connected men. Men who put the ego down and pick the phone up. Yeah. Who lead from the heart, not just from the head or from the muscles. Yeah. Who stop to say, I'm fine, because we know what Dr. John Page taught us about fine, when they're not. Because connection, it doesn't make you soft, you guys. No, it makes you strong. It makes you strong enough to handle the hard stuff. Guys, let me invite you to think about this. Strength, it's not shutting people out. So as you go through your day today, you're thinking, I'm all strong because I'm tough, because I'm not going to talk to anybody today. No, don't shut them out. Invite them in. Yeah, it's let the people in, especially when you're uncomfortable. Oh, imagine that. Imagine letting some dude in when you're uncomfortable. Because here's the real flex, you guys. You call a friend and say, I need help. I dare you. I dare you. Or text a buddy and say, hey, what's going on? Need some help? There's two ways to go about it. Don't be afraid to apologize to your kid when you mess up. Yeah, that's what I said. When you mess up. Hey, your kid's a human like you. We don't want to talk down to our kids. Apologize to them when you mess up, not when they mess up, when you mess up. Hug your dad, guys. Hug him before it's too late. Don't think about years of how long dad's going to be alive. Think about how many times you might see him. So go give him a hug. And listen, guys, I'm going to invite you to think about one last thing. Redefine strength, guys, as we focus on redefining masculinity in 2025. And it all starts, you guys, it starts with a connection. That's where it starts. That's where it starts, Jimmy. Let's bring the boys back. Let's bring up Jimmy, Johnny, Marty. What's going on, Tommy, there in the community? We got Tommy there in the Mornings in the Lab community, you guys. So if you're interacting out there, I invite you to say hello to Tommy over there. We got Jeremy Cunningham in the lobby here this morning. What's going on, Jeremy Cunningham? In the middle of the...
What's up, Jeremy?
Two boys.
Hello.
How you doing, brother?
What's going on, man?
Another exciting Wednesday. How about yourself?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Same thing, man.
Yeah, it's the loop. It's the loop. So Jeremy's joining us from Boulder, Colorado. Jeremy got his ass out of bed first thing in the morning with us. No?
No, I'm south of Denver. Boulder is northwest of Denver.
Oh, okay. So I'm wrong. And I don't mind being wrong. I will gladly admit that. I thought your profile... Exactly. Yeah. Throw Uncle Keith.
When you're wrong, you learn, baby. Then when you welcome that shit.
I love that. So what? So fuck, that's great, Marty? So yeah. So I'm happily wrong. Where are you actually from, Jeremy? Because now I'm going to remember it.
I'm in a little town called Castle Rock. It's just south of Denver.
Okay. That's awesome. So we have the big question we like to ask everybody first thing in the morning here with all of our guests, and that is, what is your morning routine?
My morning routine is usually pretty quiet. I'm the first one up, and so I do little chores around the house, make some tea, and just before the new year, I started working on journaling, trying to explore things a little bit more and get in touch with myself.
What prompted that?
Just lots of stuff going on, and this will sound odd, but I realized my handwriting was really bad, and so I wanted to work on that, and journaling helped give me a focus for that.
Yes, and
Self-improvement is always on the menu.
it's true, yeah. And so, Jeremy, I got to be honest, man. So we're a band of brothers here, and we show love through jesting. So allow me to say this, Jonny, Marty. So, because we know that handwriting skills are the most prolific skill set we as human beings need in 2025. So I'm really
Mine sucks.
So I'm really glad that Jeremy decided to pick up a fucking pencil.
Yeah, I'm terrible at handwriting, but I could type fast I probably could type faster than you and Johnny, I'm sure.
Marty, do you even know what a check is? Do you know what a check is, Marty? Have you ever written a check?
I know what a check is, man. I know how to write a check.
Oh yeah, Lord doesn't fucking know what a check is. She's like, what the fuck's a check?
Do you know how to reconcile a bank
Really?
account? Do you know how to reconcile a bank statement, a bank account?
Yeah.
Marty?
Reconcile a bank statement.
Yeah,
I never heard of that. I never even heard of that in my life.
That's
the hell
a
is
whole.
that?
We were taught that in school, brother. Isn't that crazy? It's basically what it is. It's a way of adding in your checks, but then doing the math so you truly know what you got left in there. Because people write checks, that money just and that thing gets cashed. All of a sudden, boom, you have this subtraction from your account, and most people, oh my God, what happened to my money? Well, you didn't reconcile your shit.
Well, maybe I need to reconcile my shit because I get overcharged and then they put the money back. And I'm like, what the? I didn't even know I got overcharged. So I need to start reconciling.
Well, you just said, brother, you don't even waste your time reconciling. Just focus on making more money. When you get enough in there, it never fucking happens.
I agree. Sorry, man. Just go.
There we go.
That's
there
it.
you go.
That's it. See, Jeremy, you answer a question about going to embrace handwriting, and you never know where that conversation can end up. I'm telling you. So back to journaling. I know that's we all have our morning routines. Marty opens up his book of truth. He opens up the Bible and reads passages, and Jonny journals, and I digitally journal. How has that process of journaling, gratitude, reflection, how's that helped you as we're 15 days into the new year? And are you seeing progress, Jeremy?
I'm starting to. I'm still trying to find my voice in it and learning what I want to write about. And I've done a little bit in the morning and I've done a little bit in the evening, trying to find out which one feels better, whether I'm reflecting on the day or trying to set my day up.
Interesting. Do you find it odd when you're journaling because you don't know who you're talking to?
Yes, very much so.
Right.
It's the Dear Diary concept doesn't quite work with me, and so I'm just, a lot of it is, why am I doing this?
Yeah. John,
I was going to say, I'll share kind of what I do, brother.
Please.
So basically what I do every morning, and then sometimes I'll do it at night. I'll review my journal if I feel like it's going to help me sleep, because I'll explain what that means in a second. But ultimately there's three different sections. The first section is, what did I do yesterday that I don't want to do again today? Because as humans, we repeat mistakes and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
So you got to do that inventory. Then the second one is how do I want to behave today? I don't think about my goals. It's like, how do I behave today so I can reach those goals? Because the behavior pattern is the key. And then the third section is basically, what am I grateful for? And that's what I finish with, because when you go through that, I write at least 3, but sometimes it'll turn into 10, 12. But ultimately, because you're writing out what you're grateful for, your brain is releasing the positive chemistry that sets you up to have a really fucking good day. That if you had a stressful day, you think, fuck, I'm having a hard time sleeping, go back and review the gratitude portion. Your brain re-releases those good chemicals. It relaxes you, and pow, to sleep and go. And from there, I bet you're going to start to understand why you're doing what you're doing, and probably go much beyond what I just explained, is my guess.
Does that resonate for you, Jeremy?
It really does. It gives a nice framework. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I got a different perspective. I don't write in the morning, but I just try to get super positive because I'm a cranky motherfucker when I wake up. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm like, I just got to get positive. So that's my focus. So That could be reading, or it could just be listening, mostly listening to something
Yeah.
positive. It could be a scripture, it could be some type of motivation, a podcast, but usually just trying to get as positive as possible. So
But
just in case anybody watching who don't want to write in the morning.
But Marty, I think what's important that you and Jonny said, and I think it's helpful for Jeremy or anybody tuning in right now that's kind of going through the Jeremy thing. Even I've gone through, I was like, okay, so I got this big fucking white piece of paper. What do I say? And who am I saying it to? Right, Jeremy? I said, yeah, I'm nodding, right? Like Marty, you still have structure within the way you started. So like, and I know we've talked many times, I asked you yesterday, the day before, like, how do you decide what you're going to read in the Bible? And you're like, you think of themes, you think of positive ways to go about it, but there's certainly structure in the way you go about it, isn't there, Marty?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it just depends on what I'm going through, because we always like facing a challenge or an obstacle. So, that pretty much determines, I'm sure, just like that determines what you write in a journal. So same thing, just a different method.
Jeremy, are you a writer? Are you a digital writer?
What's that?
You're writing your journal with your hand?
Yeah, it's like I said, it was
hence the improvement of the handwriting, brother.
Yeah. It was a way to give me a focus rather than just copying letters constantly.
You write in cursive or you write regular?
I'm starting print, and I might go back to cursive someday. My cursive is even worse than my print. So.
Yeah, man.
Dudes. Jonny.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to kind of take a bite off what Marty's saying, like in many cases, when I get up, first thing I'll do is I head for my desk. And if I don't feel clear enough to write, I'll put an ear pod in and I'll listen to something motivational. Like lately, I've been listening to Dan Pena, where he just
he's
talks.
Man, he's a beast.
Well, in the new stuff, he's like really fucking aggressive. You fucking cunts, shit like this. But in the older stuff, he doesn't talk that way, And I'm a fan either way, because he's going to lay it out the way it is. But he lays it out so simply in terms of how we need to structure the way we think so we can get to the right side of the fence. And so a lot of times, we wake up, or I wake up. I shouldn't say we. I'll just include myself. I wake up and my shit's going the wrong way. I get old Dan in my ear, or somebody else that's real positive. It starts pulling me back to at least to the neutral position. And then at that point, when I pick up that pen, now I'm ready to rock. But sometimes I have a hard time running my drill with the framework I just explained if my shit is still going down the wrong rabbit hole.
That's vulnerable. So that's vulnerable stuff you share there, Jonny. And I appreciate that, because a lot of us, when we look at our superheroes, we look at people like on camera, we don't think that they have some of the challenges that you express. You're like, someone's like, wait a minute, Jonny Andersen actually goes to listen to somebody else for positive reinforcement. So there you go. Jeremy, you were going to say something too, pal?
Yeah, the other reason that I'm going with pencil and paper these days is I work in IT.
Yeah. Yes.
100% of my day is keyboard, digital screen.
Yeah.
And it's nice to just step away for a little bit and have something that's not blinking at me for once.
I guess, yeah. Well, there's something nostalgic about reflecting back on journals and paper, and there really is something nostalgic about that whole feeling, isn't there, Jer?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Jeremy, I know we've talked on this show many times, Jonny's reflected upon it. I've reflected upon it. Marty reflects upon it. We get up sometimes, and as Jonny said, our shit's not always right. It takes me some time to get over my anxiety or get over some of my anxious feelings. If I can ask you on a personal level, do you go through that as well from time to time, Jerry? And then when you do, how do you find yourself getting out of it? Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, no, I'm actually pretty centered all the time.
I'm a fairly calm person. Oddly enough, I think that helps in my career, because when computers are blowing up or whatever else, I can keep that calm center. I'm still human, of course, and I have anxious times and things I worry about, and family and friends and whatnot. Mostly, it's a matter of just remembering the things that I have. That sounds terrible. The people I have around me. Yeah. That I have a fairly nice life, and that I have a good support network around me.
No, brother, don't feel bad about looking at the things that you have. Those are things you've worked for.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it sounds really fucking goofy. When I'm going into gratitude, I have no fucking idea why, but the fact that what makes me feel, helps me get in that groove is when I literally, I'll write down, both my houses are paid for. And literally, it's like that for some reason that just pushes a button in me that says, fuck, okay, you're doing pretty fucking well here, dude. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that makes you, whatever pushes that button inside you to make you feel abundant, there's nothing wrong with that. You know?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's so true because to Johnny's point, I know I've gone through it too. You tend to take things for granted, and it's easy. It's easy, especially when we get into the loop, especially as us men, right? Let's face it, right? We get up, do the same thing, and if we're trying to be successful, success is largely boring and it's mundane. And then as a result, that it's easy to kind of look in the garage and Johnny's case, look at the G-Wagon. It's like, oh yeah, well, there's G-Wagon there. But to some guy, it's like, holy fuck, man. Like that guy's got a G-Wagon. Or someone come in my garage, it's like, yeah, that guy's got a Tesla Roadster in his garage. And I'm like, yeah, it's just wrapped up. But I'm like, I take it for granted. But Marty's walking in going, holy fuck, you achieved that? I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, I guess I did achieve that. It's like a trophy, right? So I'm really glad that John talked about it. Johnny.
Yeah, and it's like no matter you can sometimes you can kind of get caught in the wrong side of this whole thing. Like I had the car detailer here last weekend, and I was pulling out cars, and I went to go start one of the fucking Porsches, and it was been sitting so long it wouldn't start. And I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, hold on, dude, hold on. You're complaining because you have fucking cars that are sitting in your garage that you don't drive enough to keep the fucking battery charged. This is a pretty good problem to have. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's easy to get caught on the wrong side of that stuff. Sure. Even when you're fucking on the right side of the fence, your brain will still flip the shit around. Yeah. So true. This practice never fucking goes away. I mean, if you don't practice gratitude, your brain will find the fucking problems, no matter how set up your life is, whether you're talking about material shit or relationships. So this is a practice that just keeps a human being happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what you got, no matter what you don't got, for that matter.
You're hanging out with Keith, John, Marty, and Jeremy Cunningham. Hey, Jeremy, we're coming to the bottom of our segment, but are you able to stick around for the next one?
Sure.
Awesome. Let's do that. So here's what's going to happen. We got Marty's got something to say on the fitness side of things, and I'm going to get out of here, go get some water. Johnny's going to go for a tea break. Jeremy's going to take a break. Good morning, Amy. Hey, good time. Thanks for the shout out, brother. Yes, remember to like the channel. And hey, apparently, Marty, they're not teaching cursive anymore. So maybe
no, they don't. I barely learned cursive.
You know, I actually learned calligraphy when I was a little motherfucker.
Of course you did, Marty. Of course you did.
Well, listen, it wasn't by choice. Listen, that was not me saying, "Oh boy, I want to better myself." I'm like, what the fuck do I got to do this dumb shit for?
Jeremy, he's a philosopher. He's a strong man.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I know. I have a minor in philosophy, but I guess you could say in the way that I flip shit around. That's philosophy, you know.
Oh, that's exactly it.
Get off the screen, guys. Let me do my thing. This is getting out of hand. Johnny just making up shit. Get out of here. Anyway, get Johnny out of here. All right. Fitness tip is super simple today. All right. Straight to the point. We know we have to do cardio in our fitness journey. And a lot of people come up to me and say, hey, see, Marty, what cardio should I do? And I'm here to tell you that it does not matter. All right. Do something that you can do consistently that you enjoy. Now, of course, you're going to dread it sometimes. Of course, you're not going to look forward to it. That's just part of the game. We know that by now. But do something that you can stick with. It can be as simple as going outside and walking while you listen to our show or a podcast or whatever it is. It can be running. It can be jogging. It can be sprinting. It can be pushing a sled. It can be Stairmaster, cycling, jump rope, burpees, whatever it is. Just make sure you get the cardio in. Make sure you challenge yourself and make sure you're making that hard work and training that heart. That's all that matters. And I know people like Johnny, they'll do their form of cardio by doing supersets or some trisets in the gym with limited rest breaks. That's fine as well. But just make sure you're getting it in. You got plenty of options. If you don't know what to do, you got YouTube, you got TikTok, you got ChatGPT, Google, Instagram, whatever it is. Figure it out. Use the resources. You can ask us and get your cardio in. That's the fitness tip for today.
There we go. The fitness tip of the day with See Marty Fit. I love it, Marty. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you're right. Not everybody's all about got to get my cardio and got to get my cardio. But here's the thing, right, pal? Let's get moving, right? Get your body moving. Get your heart rate up. It's healthy heart. And as far as I know, pal, and as far as you know, I've never seen anybody go in the wrong direction if they get moving. So just get moving.
That's true.
Right.
Get moving.
Get
Simple.
yourself moving and get yourself active, right? So
I think people complicate it too much, and
I agree with
it throws
you.
them off. You know.
Yep. I agree with you. Hey, everybody! I see you guys in the comments. Scott Benzie, good morning. Adam Holroyd, I see you there as well. Good time. The Trickle Charger. Amy Reiner, it's a calligraphy era as well. I see that comment. And I see that. And Rick Kletke, yes, Rick. Johnny's bringing it. Stop being a bitch. Yes, when the Porsche does.
Yeah, Marty. I gotta know what was the attack on me? Fuck, brother. A little fucking flexing for the audience to show what's possible, and all of a sudden now
it just seemed like you're trying to be a Marvel superhero today, man. Come on, man.
Well, every once in a while, I just pull the fucking cape back and let y'all have a little look of what's underneath. You know.
No, I love it, man. I just got to give you shit sometimes, man. You know?
Anybody?
Just when I do this, it's like, what's underneath there?
It's a big J right here, big J-A.
Anybody tuning in lately is, I think, hopefully recognizing there's a new energy coming in here with the hosts here. We got ourselves in a vibe. And Jeremy, I wanted to have you hang around. We're going to talk about redefining masculinity. We show up in 2024, and there's just... we live in a world now where there's just echo chambers everywhere, and sometimes people don't want to converse. Sometimes two people want to converse, and we pride ourselves on a show where it's an inclusive place for everyone, for all men of all types and so forth. But Jeremy, when you hear that term of redefining masculinity, so I'm 52, Johnny's same age. I'm thinking you're probably in your late 30s.
I'm 53, baby. I just stepped ahead.
Fuck, I know, Anderson. I know you stepped ahead. I was giving you some credit, motherfucker. Jared, I'm thinking you're in your late 30s or 40s. When you hear... pardon me?
I'll be 48 in a few months.
Awesome. So
looking good, brother. Looking good. Come on,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Jeremy, when you hear redefining masculinity as a 48-year-old, what does that mean to you?
It's funny, actually. When I was younger, I was really arrogant. A number of things came easy to me. I was pretty well read at the time and everything else. And so I looked down on a lot of people. And I hit a really bad spot where I didn't like what I was doing at a job. And so I quit. And I was single. I didn't have any plan. And I was out of work for like 4 months or something like that. And I eventually found another job, but I was in IT, and the new job was working in a wafer fab. And what that means is that all the little computer chips inside of your phones or your computers, whatever else, those are made in a clean room. And so I was working a 12-hour shift at night in what's called a bunny suit. That's where basically you can only see your eyes, and that's it. Everything else is covered. And I was a monkey, just pushing a button, watching the computer chips be processed, pushing another button, watching some more go by. And that really caused me to have to redefine my life, redefine how I saw things. And so I think about this all the time.
Yeah.
Someone made a comment a couple years ago at me, and they said, "Oh, you're just in a boys club and you hate women and stuff like that." And I stopped immediately and went to a number of coworkers that I know, who are women. And I said, if I'm doing something, you need to tell me. And if you aren't comfortable telling me, have someone else tell me or whatever, because I need to fix this. I need to not be getting off whatever vibe this was. And fortunately, I got a lot of feedback, and it may have just been that person having a bad day, or I wasn't paying attention and I needed to pay more attention. And so this is a journey that I've been on for a very long time, trying to make sure that I'm also inclusive, that I also am presenting myself in a way that I can sleep at night with.
Jeremy, that's so first of all, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's a vulnerable thing to share. Frankly, it is, right? When humans, other humans from the other sex are making accusations or allegations that you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So when that comes up, and then you have the courage, which I applaud you, to walk towards the fire and have the conversation with the females to say, what's going on? How did you react to that? And where in that journey did the light go on for you to go, okay, I'm taking that, I'm receiving the information, and I'm doing something with it?
It was mostly just making sure that I was aware of myself and aware of what I was doing, because a lot of times it's not about what someone does, it's how someone is receiving it.
Yes.
And you can do something well-intentioned and still be an absolute jerk. And so for me, unfortunately, it tends to manifest as I can be very quiet. Hello all, this is very much outside my comfort zone. I think I've just overcorrected on that. And so I'm trying to be a little more outgoing, a little more out there. And hopefully, I can keep that balance where I can still be respectful. I can still be inclusive with other people and express myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Marty, Jonny.
Yeah, it's a fine line to balance, because you want to make sure that obviously you're acting in a way that's respectful, but you also got to remember, what's one of my fucking favorite sayings: when they're talking smack, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
If they're talking behind your back, keep going. You're ahead of them. And so it's really fucking difficult in many cases to understand what someone else's motivation is. So it's just a slippery slope is all I'm pointing out. And what I try to do is I try to act in a way that I'm confident that I'm being respectful, and then other people's reaction is their reaction. Just fucking own that shit. Not say I don't make mistakes. And when I find I make a mistake, I'll be the first one to apologize. I mean, it feels good to apologize when I've done something wrong, because I'm learning, So when it comes into it, I'm just saying it's a fucking tough, it's like a seesaw,
Yeah.
Like you never really balance that fucker perfectly. You're just slowly fucking, tipping from one side to the next to find that right balance. And then you get some weirdo in there, and you think you're doing the right thing, and but he's really fucking up your feedback because for whatever reason, he can't stand that you're doing something extraordinary.
Jeremy,
I was just going to add briefly, when something like that comes up with me, I try to respectfully nip it in the bud, because I don't even walk around with the type of energy to, make people think or disliking people or being super negative. So there's usually a misunderstanding, and a simple conversation can always fix it. I just wanted to add that in real quick.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, so I believe emotional intelligence is the foundation of the modern man, of today's man. I really believe that our ability to emote, to communicate, but also get the job done, right? So there's that balance there, right? Which is that, I know I can emote, I know I can have feelings, but I still got to get the fucking job done. I still got to get there's no advantage about it, right? But Jared, you're not too far off from Jonny and I. We were raised in an era where we were not taught about emotional intelligence. It wasn't discussed.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, as you went through your little journey there, when people were kind of saying things about you and you had to create some awareness now, and you're now journaling, when you hear those terms, emotional intelligence, Jeremy, what does that mean to you?
It's a foreign concept, because like you said, we weren't taught that. And, Gen X, latchkey kids, spent a lot of time on my own. And
yes,
it was the, come home when the streetlights come on for dinner type of a thing.
Yes.
And so it was just whatever a bunch of kids were teaching themselves. And the first time I heard emotional intelligence, it was years ago, but it was one of those light bulb moments of, oh yeah, that makes sense. And now that you've given me a word for it, I can start working towards it. It's hard to work towards a goal if you have, or it's hard to work towards something if you have no goal. And then it was, oh, now I can start to define this. And now that I can define it, I can move towards it.
And I know it's hard for us men to wrap our heads around it, but Jared, like, it took me going through divorce. It took me selling my company, waking up on Monday and being really fucking empty. It took me, having to sit down and tell my kids that, their mom and dad are being divorced, right? And it took me these moments in life to recognize that I needed to develop emotional intelligence through empathy, right? And to take Jonny's point, accepting when I'm wrong and learning from it and then talking about it and embracing all that. Fuck, man, it's been hard, Jer. So I hear you, man. I was raised exactly like you, which is like, hey, you can't come in the house until you're done getting yourself dirty enough, and you got to eat all the food on your fucking plate. So I left that era just fucking messed up in my head, man. I'm telling you right now.
And for me, the biggest part too is it's never over. It's continuous.
So expand on that, because we like to embrace that, myself, Marty, and John, and that's the teaching we have here, which is this loop. Right, like in many ways, people think of, oh yeah, Keith, John, and Marty is big out. Oh yeah, he's big superstar, extroverted guys. No, we're actually pretty boring, mundane dudes. We do our show in the morning, we go through it our day, we achieve our goals, we go to bed and get up back next, and it's pretty predictable, but it's boring. But that's what you have to have success, as well as emotional intelligence. So when you say that, Jeremy, what do you mean by it? It's a continuing thing. Lean into that.
I thought I was doing well, and then I got that feedback from someone, and it just reinforced that it doesn't matter how well you're doing, you have to show up every day, you have to continue working on it every day, and it's over when you're dead type of situation. And you're dealing with new people every day, or even if it's the same person, because it's a new day and they have new challenges, it's really a different person still. And so you have to keep showing up and keep doing that work.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're hanging with Keith, John, Marty, and our guest, Jeremy Cunningham. Marty, I know you got to rock and roll, brother. You got a word before you got to go here, pal, before you say goodbye?
Hey, man, great show, Jeremy. Nice to meet you, and thanks for sharing your story and opening up to us.
So, Marty, I always like your shirt there, and so I wore my own shirt. It says, everything is science.
Hey, man, there we go. I love it, man. I love it.
I love that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All right, Marty, you rock and roll, pal. You get out of here. You have yourself a great day, brother.
Appreciate you. I see y'all tomorrow, man.
Sure you
will. Have a good loop, brother.
Yeah, you too.
So, Jeremy, here's how it works, pal. I got an invite for you. So, Jory Jans is coming in. We're going to talk gut health after John's lifestyle tip. Do you want to hang out till the end of the show? We'll wrap up.
Sure. I have time.
All right, cool. So I'm curious about your science shirt. So why don't you? So Jimmy, get me, John, and Jeremy out of here, and we'll get Jory up here. We're gonna come back to talk gut health. Oh, look at all these graphics, man! Holy smokes on the screen, Jesus, that's awesome. And we're gonna rock and roll. Johnny, let's get after it, pal.
Come on, baby. The biggest problem most human beings have is they get in their own way. Getting what you want, in many cases, has to do with making sure that you're not self-sabotaging the process, that voice inside your head, those limiting beliefs. Once you actually decide to get out of your own way and accept you for who you are, you start to see life from a different set of goggles. So it's not an easy thing, but just remember, when you become authentically you, and you stop worrying about what other people think, what other people think about what you're doing, what other people think about anything that has to do with your journey, that's going to be the beginning of a whole new path that's going to take you right where you want to go. Rock and roll.
Love it. Yes, Johnny, good message this morning, pal. Great message this morning. Love it. All right, we got Jory.
Hey, real quick, brother. I gotta just so you know, I gotta be out right at 6 sharp. I gotta interview with some dudes across the pond, building out the team, baby.
Love it. All right, we'll get you out of here for 6 o'clock. That's great. Jory, what's going on here today, girl?
My usual morning, making sure everyone's on track, and then setting up for here.
Nice. Jory Jans, Jeremy Cunningham joining us from Castle Rock, Colorado here today.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Hey, Jory, so I was doing some research yesterday, and gut health is one of the highest searched terms on Google, and especially with men.
Finally.
Yeah, and I thought that we could talk about it here this morning for our audience, and I'm suspecting, because, we talk a lot about flesh, we talk a lot about protein, we talk a lot about all those things that affect our man's gut health, Jory. So
Yeah.
maybe we could talk a little bit. I'm not talking about your husband. No, we're not talking about what's going on in the bowels of the Jansen residence. But let's have some fun and loosen the conversation. Yes, every pun intended about gut health today, Jory. What do you
Yeah,
want to start with it?
it's nice to hear that men are wanting to talk about gut health.
Yes.
It is generally, in my experience, a lot of women are definitely on top of that and trying to influence their partners in terms of joining the gut health club. So that's fantastic, and there's huge reason why.
Yeah.
There is. We know heart health is impacted by the gut, but sometimes men forget about the other part, and testosterone and hormones overall, in particular testosterone levels for men, are impacted by the health of your gut. And that's something to consider when you're choosing your diet.
I know, Johnny, you're big on gut health. So I was excited to have this conversation with you and Jory today because I know you are big on it because I think I know a lot of men don't think about it. So, John, let's put your perspective on the table too, pal.
Yeah, I mean, you guys always hear me talking about whole foods, and by removing a lot of the processed foods, just that alone kind of helps the gut start to realign itself. And like just going right along with what Jory's saying, the gut health, once it's in line, once it's operating the way it should, it's going to make a person feel better overall. I mean, I can't remember the actual stats, but a good chunk of our serotonin is released from the gut. And if your gut's all screwed up, there's just so much there's so much going on there that can take away from a person's overall well-being. When the gut is not right, the person, generally speaking, is not going to be right. So it's like it's like a foundation of a human being wanting to feel good, look good, be happy, the whole kit and caboodle, sleep good, you name it.
Yeah. Jeremy, how do you do? Are you happy with your gut health? Do you have issues with gut health? Is it something you think about, talk about with your family and friends, or is this all foreign for you?
It's new information for me. It's not foreign. It's just new.
Yeah.
It's not something I think about too much, but we are cooking at home more, so we know more what's going into our food and stuff like that. Eating out a lot less, almost never these days. And so hopefully that's helping. But I'm always up for new information.
Yeah. So George, some of the factors that affect gut health is obviously diet, exercise, stress, medications. I'm suspecting medications and supplements because we take these medications because doctor says take them, but we often lose sight of how that affects our gut health.
For sure. So when people take something like antibiotics, which if you need them, please do.
Yes.
However, when you're going through that process, I haven't taken antibiotics in ages. So, but if I can recall some of the issues, things like diarrhea is one, right? And you're killing off bacteria, the good and the bad.
The good bacteria we need.
So if you're getting rid of that, then you're not going to absorb certain nutrients too. They're going to shoot right through. And we know nutrients like vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc are really important for our health. And if you're not absorbing those nutrients, then you're not going to be the healthy, strong version of you. And vitamin D playing so many roles in our body besides just for bone health. Now that's important too, especially with aging, but really important there. And when hormones are being impacted, serotonin, testosterone, lean muscle mass, sex drive, there's so many things that testosterone is a part of in terms of men and women's health. You're not going to live with that vitality. So vitality is really just that
good word.
It's that enjoyment for living, honestly. And so your gut health is linked to your mental health, mood disorders. It's going to be linked to your ability to gain that lean muscle mass, cardiovascular disease. If that runs in your family, let's pay attention to gut health.
Yeah.
And so there are foods that you can incorporate. There's stress management that you can incorporate, including proper sleep. So it's not just the probiotics. You need the prebiotics. So probiotics would be your fermented foods. And then the prebiotics would be like your high fiber, all your foods, because that feeds the probiotic. You need the prebiotic for the probiotic to work. So They're the dynamic duo in the gut. And so there are some things that you can do. You can supplement and you want to do your research around which probiotics are actually going to do what they're needing to do for your particular symptoms.
Jory, there's go ahead.
I just want to jump real quick. So I've had a number of clients who come to me and they're not exercising or eating terribly, and they don't want to exercise out of the gate. And I tell them, look, you're gonna want to do it. When you want to do it, then we'll start to exercise. You just focus on the diet. And a number of them did not tell me that they were on antidepressant meds. And I get them off their processed foods, get them on whole real foods, get them eating in a way that's, get their digestion rolling, their energy shoots up. And then, a couple months in, 3 months in, they'll tell me, they'll say, you know what, I didn't tell you in the beginning because I was embarrassed, but, my doctor took me off my antidepressant medicine. I'm not suggesting that you should go eat whole real foods and come off your meds, but I'm just saying that's how profound getting the gut aligned, because the exercise portion hadn't even entered the equation yet. It was just by eating differently, which their gut health got better. We got rid of all the toxicity, and they were taken off their meds by their doctor. Keep that in mind, people.
Yes, I think what John and Jory is saying is that we're not telling you what to do. It's just we're gathering information.
Yes.
Ask the right question.
Multiple accounts. I mean,
Yes.
I shouldn't say countless, but many.
Jory, I think so. Here's a fun kind of question way to maybe phrase this. When we hear gut health, men hear gut health. We're not talking about the stomach. We're not talking about your abs. We're not talking about your belly. You know what I'm getting at here? Because men like to use these terms. I got a fucking gut. Well, you know what I mean? So let's get really kind of science and visceral about. We're talking about inside your body, gentlemen. Right, Jor? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, 70% or more of our immune system is in our gut, our intestines. And that's where we want to focus. That's where nutrients get absorbed. And when we have a bunch of inflammation, if you think of someone that has, which is not curable, so I'm not saying that this is going to cure them, but if someone has celiac disease that's not managed, that's a bunch of inflammation in the gut. What happens with all these microvilli that help move nutrients along and absorb nutrients get flat. So everything that you're taking in goes out. You can supplement all the heck you want.
Yes.
It's just going to go through you. It's not going to be absorbed. And so your immune system goes down, which means, there's so many other factors that then your mental health goes down.
Yes.
Your focus, your thoughts on making good choices, what's quick and convenient, those highly processed foods.
Yes.
That start because they're easy. You're tired. Who gives a crap? Let's just get this done.
Yes.
And it keeps rolling out. So it's really important to think beyond just how do you look, not opposed to that, but like you have to get down to where are nutrients being absorbed and delivered, and it's there. And if you want to start something, then it's start. Then you get that energy back. You sleep properly. Hormones are becoming aligned, and then you can move on to some next steps, such as exercising and enjoying it. I think that's important. Last night, my daughter and I went to work out, and it was enjoyable. It's not something that's torture. It's not like every day you're like, yes, I'm going to eat healthy, yes, I'm going to exercise, but it creates more of that energy for
So that's why I wanted to raise that, because I know us men, we tend to use words that often don't mean the right things. So I go, I got a big gut today. Well, hold on a second here. Let's talk about what your gut health is all about here. So so forth. So but listen, we're gonna wrap it up here. Johnny's got to rock and roll. Jory, we're gonna walk you out here early today as well, and Jeremy and I are gonna wrap the show up together. Jory, what do you got on the agenda today, kid?
Well, I'm gonna work with some pretty cool hockey players in our Winnipeg system today. So I actually have to head out today.
There you go. Well, it's a warm one today in Winnipeg. It's only -13 today, Jeremy and John. So it's going to be a warmer day today. Jory, I appreciate you. You have a great one. We'll catch up with you in a couple days.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Jory.
Take care, you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Jory. We'll see you later. All right, Jory's out of here. Johnny, you got to rock and roll today. It was well, pal. You want to say goodbye to Jer?
Jeremy, thank you so much, brother. It was a pleasure having you on. Fun talking with you. And brother, keep kicking ass out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the best I can.
Awesome. All right, John, you get out of here, brother. Say hello across the pond for us, okay? We'll see you tomorrow in the loop.
You got it. Right on.
All right. John is out of here. Keith's gonna reset hour 2. Jeremy's still hanging out with me. Jerry, you got a couple more minutes to hang out. You gotta go. You got a job you gotta go. You gonna hang out with me?
I have a job to go to, but I still have a few more minutes.
Yes. Awesome. Jimmy, we got the new co-host for hour 2 here. Jeremy Cunningham is hanging out with the boss, Uncle Keith. Yes. All right. So here's how we're going to reset hour 2. Hour 1 was pretty fun. It was. We talked about the woman that slept with 1,000 men. Yeah, 12 hours, you guys. Jeremy's like, what? Yeah, Jeremy's like, why wasn't I part of that conversation? No, Jeremy, I saved you for the gut health conversation.
Thank you. That's more appropriate.
So, Jimmy, we kept Jeremy for the gut health, the emotional intelligence, but we kept him off the table for the woman who slept with 1,000 men. Jeremy's like, yes, good. Perfect. And we're going to keep Jeremy around for the Creator Spotlight, which is a segment of the show here during the Community Corner, which we're going to get into in a couple moments, which we celebrate humans. Jerry, you familiar with our Creator Spotlight?
No, I'm not. So.
Yeah, so we have a segment on the show. It's called the Creator Spotlight. It's a segment we call the Community Corner, and we like to take human beings with this sound effect. Yeah, there we go. The muted sounds of Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jerry, before we get to that, hold on, Jimmy, we can't do the Creator Spotlight yet. No, I got to learn something about Jeremy. Jeremy, the T-shirt, the science man. I fucking love science. You're also an astrophotographer too, dude, right?
Yes. Amateur, very much amateur.
So hold on a second. So I need to nerd out with you for a second here. So are you talking about like taking your camera and connecting it to like gear that allows you to take pictures far away?
I tried to do that for a little while and it didn't work out so well. So I actually bought a special telescope that has the camera built into the telescope.
Yeah.
And you set it out in the yard, at least that's what I do, and you can connect to it with a Wi-Fi signal. And then there's an app on your phone that you can connect, and you tell it what you want to image, and you hit a button and it starts imaging it. And the way that astrophotography works is you take an image, you take another image, and you put them together. And
okay. Yeah.
light from those two makes it a little bit brighter, and then you do that several hundred times, and then you get a nicer looking image.
I get that concept. Because I'm an amateur photographer myself. I love taking. I shoot with my Leica. It's been a while since I've shot. To be frank, I've been building a business, but I love. I don't call it taking photos. I love creating art. Right, with my camera's the tool, but I love the vision of something. So when I'm familiar with astrophotography, and it fascinates me. It absolutely fascinates me.
The really talented people, the really well done people, have cameras with telescopes and the whole connected rig and everything. I just wanted to do it for fun, and so that's why it's a really good device, but it has some limitations. It has what's called a fixed focal length. And so I can't zoom in or things like that, but it does have the ability to zoom out a little bit where it will take, normally it'll look right at the moon or at a star.
Yeah.
Or it has a secondary mode where it can actually take a picture, move a little, take a picture, and then combine those automatically. And so you can get a much larger picture. It's nice because there are so many things up there that if you just walk outside and look up, it's a dark sky.
Yes.
But if you can use something like a camera and take those pictures over time, there are just amazingly beautiful things up there.
Oh, dude. So let's keep nerding out if you can. So I was down in Australia a number of years back, and I was fascinated when I went outside in the night. And we're obviously here in the north. I look up, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I'm lost because the Big Dipper wasn't there, and I had to get reorientated to the other side of the planet. That was fascinating to me because to those of you that are listening that really kind of can't wrap your head around that, it's an odd thing, isn't it? Have you experienced that?
I have not experienced it, but there's a couple of programs, open source programs you can download that let you stand on different places on the planet to get that.
Yeah, that's interesting. And have you experienced, when you're taking photographs, have you experienced all the light pollution from Elon's train of satellites? And how is that disrupting astrophotography, the industry, the cottage community of that? Or is that just kind of a headline that nobody really cares about?
No, it does affect things. Every now and then I'll be imaging like a nebula or something, and then I'll have the streak go across and I have to dump it and start over again.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about the drone fascination that was happening over on the East Coast there for the longest time? As somebody who looks up in the sky and the science guy, probably a well-versed science guy, what's your thoughts around that, Jer?
That just seemed like a bunch of nonsense. The parts of drones that I care about more is I saw an article talking about one of the firefighting airplanes on the West Coast right now.
Yes.
Got struck by a drone, and which means I think at the time they had 3 tanker planes flying around, and one of them got hit. Now they're down by 1.
Yes,
and
I know.
So whatever the nonsense they were doing on the East Coast, was just people looking for attention. But the people impacting life-saving stuff on the West Coast, to me, is the much bigger problem with drones. Drones are great; they can do amazing things, but you need to keep them out of the way of firefighters.
What fascinates me about that too, Jeremy, is that that drone was caused by one of those sub 250 gram drones. So we both know that, the sub 250, you don't have to register them, right? So if you got a 250 plus, you got to register with the FAA. With the sub 250, you don't. So that opened up a whole can of worms of how do we find the dude? And then I don't know if you saw the news yesterday. DJI announced that they removed all the geofencing restrictions. So now you can fly your drones anywhere you want, over airplanes, over the White House, over any zone you want. And because you know why too, because America is trying to obviously ban DJI from their drones. So like, well, fuck you guys. No, we're going to let everybody fly where they want now. So I found that kind of fast. So that's going to be a fascinating thing happening in the drone industry as well. But I just love your so what got you into astrophotography? If I can ask this before we get to the creator spotlight, was it like you, like me, a couple Gen Xers, like go outside and figure shit out? So you're like, okay, well, hey, there's some fucking stars up there. I'm gonna take pictures of them. Was it kind of that worked hard for you, Jer?
I've always liked space. I've always liked rocketry.
Yeah.
That's also what got me into information technology, IT.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to do robotics for a while, and then I figured out that I liked programming better.
Yeah.
I could make my own virtual worlds with programming, and I didn't have to solder things.
Yeah.
I'm not that great at soldering. And it's just the act of discovery, and the fact that the very basic tenet of science is you don't know, let's find out. And if you're wrong, great. You learned something. Now let's go find out something else.
And so John talks about, right? He's like, it's great if you're wrong, because that's how you learn, right? I love that.
I have a number of tattoos that are all kind of sci-fi, space themed, and one of them on my shoulder is the Galaxy M81. And a few days after I first got my telescope, I was able to actually image M81, and that was just so exciting for me.
That's really cool, man.
I got to see it. Yeah, I mean, it was on my phone screen, but I got to see it with kind of my own eyes for the first time.
That's awesome. You'll appreciate this too, brother, because I grew up, man. Well, we can segue how we kind of started our conversation. I grew up as a young man writing with cursive to NASA.
Oh, nice.
So before the internet was around, I'd write to them as a young boy, ask them to send me information, right? So then I'd wait to go to the mailbox, Jeremy, and I'd get my envelope, my brown manila envelope with all their marketing materials of NASA stuff. And man, pardon my language, but I fucking love space. I was fortunate to go to Cape Canaveral years back and wander around, and I could just wander around there forever because it fascinates me. And I love science. For me, I'm a curious human. And that to me, when you look up, it's just hard not to be curious, right? Yeah. It's hard not to be curious. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that with me, man. That's great. Why don't we listen? I told Jimmy we'd be out of here after 75. So we're getting up here to our 10-minute mark. We are going to, Jimmy, we're going to get the creator spotlight. Jimmy, I saw your note and we're going to stick with the original plan. I got the horizontal view set up, Jer. So if you want to take a moment to get yourself set up, I have that creator ready to rock and roll there, Jimmy. All these J's. So Jimmy. I got the creator spotlight set up in the horizontal for us. And let's get after it, pal. So listen, Jeremy, this time in the show, we like to take somebody who's doing amazing work on the LinkedIn platform. We're expanding our reach to Substack and everywhere else. But right now, we got somebody who from the outside, I'm telling you, man, from the outside, they look perfect. Yeah. the career, the family, the success. But inside, I'm suspecting that there's something missing with this creator. So you've been everything to everyone, the fixer, the doer, the one who gets it done. But somewhere along the way, you lost you. Sound familiar? Well, to this creator, you're not alone. And you don't have to stay stuck. So I'm going to invite you today, nation. I'm going to invite everybody on LinkedIn today to meet somebody who's been nominated by Lauren Greif, a transformation coach helping high achieving women, 40 plus, rediscover themselves and redefine success. Now, what she offers, what she offers through coaching and free tools, she can help you reclaim your joy and your purpose, set boundaries without guilt, finally show up for you, Jeremy. So listen, it's time to stop living by everyone else's rules. You heard Andersen. That's what this whole show is about. Live by your own rules. Say yes to yourself. And this human being who we're going to celebrate today is going to show you how. Yes, she is, because you deserve it. So Jimmy, let's get after it, pal. Today, the Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is very pleased to celebrate somebody from Lauren Greif yesterday. It is going to be Rene DeVore. Yes, sirree. All right, Rene, we're celebrating you today, girl. You are all about empowering high-achieving women. Hey, we're a men's show, but we know every good man, Jeremy, what? Is attached to a very good, awesome woman. Well, sometimes men and other genders too. So we're about all genders here in the lab. Well,
I have an amazing partner.
Awesome. So there you go. Whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, we know every good man is attached to another great human being partner. And Rene DeVore is all about empowering high-achieving women to redefine success and rediscover themselves. A transformation coach. She's an energy seeker, and she's a 6-2 generator. Don't know what that means, Jeremy, but she's a 6-2 generator that we have here, Rene DeVore. She's all about uncovering their truth and taking bold action. Guys, I could not encourage you enough to check out the work that Rene is doing here on the LinkedIn platform. She makes great content. You can book an introductory call. And really what she's all about is helping you be yourself as a human being. So guys, I invite you, check out Rene DeVore. We're celebrating her today at Mornings in the Lab and Keith and Friends. And Rene, here's how it works. We want to invite you to the lab. We want to take somebody in your orbit and we want to help you celebrate them. So guys, let's take some time today to celebrate Rene DeVore for this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Awesome. So Jerry, you are supported by an awesome partner as well, you said?
Yes, absolutely. She's a chainmail jewelry designer. So think what?
Dude.
Yeah, I think what knights used to wear. And
Yes.
she does costuming pieces. So she actually does like full shirts, hats, everything else like that. But she also focuses a lot on necklaces, earrings, bracelets, things like that.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, Jimmy, we've never had a chainmail jewelry designer person or wife or partner of somebody on the show. I don't know if I've ever. So she like makes like stuff for like knights.
Yes. And for our local Ren Fair, she's actually helped some of the knights fix their armor. So,
dude, if anybody tells you you're boring or you got nothing to say, you got to tell them to come on the show. So let's just kind of recap this, producer Jimmy. The guy's into astrophotography. This guy's got some pretty fucking cool tattoos on his back. He's a Gen Xer like me, so we automatically relate. His partner makes fucking stuff for knights. So
Yep.
Jeremy Cunningham, somebody's calling you out. You got to tell them to come talk to me, John and Marty. All right.
all right, will do.
So listen, we're wrapping up, pal. Was the experience today as fun and eventful, or was it as good as you had hoped? Was it? Be honest. If it was not fun, you can tell me, and I will learn from the answer, Jeremy Cunningham.
It was a lot of fun. It's just my own natural anxiety for being in front of people and stuff like that. But you all made it fun and easy.
How did you feel? How did you feel as you're wrapping up? Because I'm a big fan of reps, right? And I'm gonna confess to you now. Okay, can I confess to you my truth?
Sure.
Because we're an hour in. Because this was my plan all along. I was like, all right, I know I got Jeremy for 13 minutes, but I'm believing that if I can make him feel comfortable along the way, that I'm hoping he'll stay for an extra 15. And then I hope to stay for an extra 15. And then I hope to stay for an extra 15. So as I was coming down to the lab today, I'm thinking to myself, if I can get Jeremy for an hour, I'm going to help him get a lot of reps in. And that was my goal. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, pal, because you're awesome, brother.
It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to go into the rest of my day with a lot of energy.
Beautiful, beautiful. Come back again, okay, pal? And listen, let's help you get the more reps in, man. I know you're on a journey to self-discovery, journaling, and becoming elevating yourself. I know why, man. You're approaching 50 like I was a couple years back. You're like, holy shit, man, I gotta. Listen, nation, on behalf of myself, Keith Bilous, producer, Jimmy, we got Tommy in the community. Marty's on his way to Golds. Johnny's talking to the folks across the pond. On behalf of Amy Reinhardt, we got good time in the community. We got Scott Benzie. We also got Adam Holroyd in the gang. Rick Klutke, I appreciate all of you. Lauren, my baby, I love you. I'm getting out of here. Jeremy's getting out of here. We got to let him get to work, man.
Yeah.
I got to go to work. Yeah. Let's get out of here, guys. Jeremy, I appreciate you, brother. Hang around for a second, okay? All right. See you guys later. Jimmy, let's get out of here.